Hello and welcome back to Star Technology. In today's episode, we'll progress further into low voltage, but also work on getting some better power setup. But because at the moment we only have one low voltage amp, and we really do want more. These water wheels aren't cutting it. For that, we will try to set up some diesel generators and make biodiesel automatically with these large farms here and create. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Let's get right into it. I will craft the components we need for making a diesel setup, and yeah, then I'll show you how to set it up. First thing we need is two um, farms here for like large farms for potatoes and for pumpkins. And like with the steel furnaces and the coke ovens, we can wall share these. The pumpkin seeds needed for making pumpkins, we can get from rooted dirt. You get rooted dirt from sifting normal dirt. We have a stack here. So let's see if we can't get some pumpkin seeds. I'm pretty sure we need 8. And yeah, we get it from sieving that. And the large farms will look something like this when wall shared. The pumpkin seeds and the potatoes needed for farming the stuff we need, I got from sifting something called rooted dirt, which you get from sieving dirt here. This rooted dirt, you can get potatoes and pumpkin seeds. And you need 8 of each in order to farm them. These you put in here, and you need to put a circuit of 0. And then it should start working. Same with the potatoes. Now that we have these 2 resources, we will go upstairs and further process it. And to easily transfer the items, we can make these ender drawers out of circuits, which we have a bit of. Glass and ender pearls, we have plenty, and obsidian. I already made some obsidian in a stone barrel. That just requires some lava and some water. The water is not consumed, and the lava I stole from our calcite setup here. We need 3 sets of ender drawers because we also need this calcite here. The calcite we need for making bone meal, and the bone meal can be made by millstoning this calcite here. So this calcite here will be for turning into bone meal, and the other calcite drawer here, where we have a bit of calcite, will be for building. And the ender drawers you link by right clicking on the first one, and you shift right click on the other one. We will need a push upgrade for this drawer, which needs a bit of items, but nothing we cannot make. The conveyor here is the first time we will make that, but it should be very possible. With the pusher upgrade, we can throw it in the drawer, and you right click as it says to change direction, and I made it go down, and this makes the calcite go down in the middle here and make bone meal. And we will throw it into another drawer here so it can stock up while we make the other setups. And we stole the stress unit from the water wheel setup down here, so we just made a shaft go up. We want ender drawers on our farms here. In the right place, of course. See here and here. We log them. And now we are gathering pumpkins. And also pumpkin seeds, which we will throw into another drawer. And we will want, I think, a void upgrade on these We could also use these for the setup, but instead we will craft up the pumpkins with create into pumpkin seeds, and you will get a lot more pumpkin seeds from that. I made the first wood upgrade. You needed a soul-infused plate for that, and also some obsidian. And we throw that on the pumpkin seed over here. We grab our crafter here and take another in the drawer, which we will link to the pumpkins and make another pusher upgrade. I think the pusher upgrades are a little expensive, so we might just use pipes for this actually. It doesn't need to go this fast. And we will link this here. These pumpkin seeds we throw into another drawer. Make sure to lock it. And we can grab some pumpkin seeds down from here and make sure it locks to that. We also need to turn our RPM controller a little here because it's overstressed since we are running this. I think we can turn this off for now and run our biodiesel setup a little faster. And once we have it running, we will turn it back down. And this quite quickly makes us pumpkin seeds, as you can see. With a basin and a mechanical press, we can make our plant oil, which is one of the components of biodiesel here. We mix plant oil with ethanol. The ethanol is quite easy to make. It's just our bone meal that we made here, and also our potatoes, which we will link to here. These go into basins with basin lids. We haven't made the lids yet. You need a bit of gold and redstone for making the clocks needing for the lids. And as you can see, this slowly produces us ethanol. We made 3 basins because this is a bottleneck. And we can always make more because we get a lot of potatoes and quite a bit of bone meal as well. And the higher RPM we have, stress units, the more bone meal we will get. These 2 components we will need to mix in order to get the biodiesel. With some pipes and a mixer, we should be able to make our first biodiesel. And we will buffer some of it in a fluid cell. As you can see, it's thundering, so it might be time for buying the weather upgrade. We should have enough star coins for it. So let's see here. Shop. Changing weather. Cool. We will need to make it not thunder. So, bed. Pretty sure you can sleep through a thunderstorm. And it should stop. And then we can disable the weather cycle. And it should always be day now and always bright. We made 8 huge diesel engines, which we should be able to power with our setup. It needed a bit of gold, a lot of brass, and a pretty decent amount of copper as well. I actually made another one so it would be symmetrical. These you just attach shafts to. And you need to wrench them on the side for it to be able to accept fluids, or like in this case, biodiesel. And you need to configure the fluid cell as well. And this runs our diesel engines. And they don't use too much biodiesel, so our little setup here should be able to run this at all of the time. And we will connect this rotational power up to our other setup here, and we do need a gearbox here so they turn the same way around. And now we should have a lot more rotational power, and we should be able to turn up the rotational controller, controller we had here at some point. It looks like it got destroyed. So let's set it up again. It seems like it was because the setup here was going too fast. So we needed to bump it all the way up to the fastest option here. Let's turn it down a little. It seems like something broke. I placed the rotational speed controller at the diesel engines, and it seems to work much better than down at the water wheels. And we do the same thing as before to find the place where it's overstressed. And this should be much more rounds per minute than before. And now we'll work on getting bigger magnets. Seems like the water wheels broke. That's not what I meant to do. But we should be able to just use the diesel engines now. And then we will set up the water wheels as a safety precaution. As you can see, we're getting 760 RF per tick instead of the 130 we were getting before, so that's quite a big upgrade. We had to turn the water wheels the other way around for it to work, because the diesel engines were turning in the other direction, so all the water wheels broke. We just have the water wheels as a safety precaution in case of the biodiesel generators breaking down. We should be able to give this a bit more rounds per minute on the rotational controller, but probably not a lot, because the water wheels makes a bit as well. So let's see how much RF we are getting now. We are getting 860. Which should equate to about 6.5 amps, LV amps. So we should be able to run a couple of machines, like quite a few, and then also a electric blast furnace. Now I think our focus should be to get quite a few more LV machines. I think the next one I want is either the bender or the polarizer. The polarizer does not need any circuits, so it's quite easy to make. This we can use to make, let's see here, overcharged plates, which are needed for the next tier of magnets. And we can also make these here, so we can make the second best tier of magnets. The best tier of magnets we cannot quite make yet, because it needs late game or mid game materials. The first thing I've decided to make is the alloy furnace, because let's see here, alloy smelter, because this makes a much better recipe for the soul infused wire or soul infused ingots, which you need for the wires, and we need quite a few to make a line here. Since we have been consistent with the wire mill here and also other materials like steel, we had all the materials to craft the alloy smelter here. We should have some invar and the soul sand dust, and this makes a much better recipe for the soul ingots here, soul infused ingots, because the mixer here, one invar turned into 2 of the ingots, and with the alloy smelter, let's see if you can find it, one invar turns into 3, so it's a lot better, like 3 times better. And these we turn into wire at the wire mill, of course. And as you saw before, we had a lot of fine copper wire now, which we will need a lot of anyways. maybe have a bit much, but copper is easy to get. And we can extend the line here. Next machine we want is the polarizer. Should be quite easy to make as well. And yeah, it was very easy to make, and it required no circuits. We'll make one recipe of these layered magnets in order to unlock the next quest, but otherwise we'll only do these fluxed magnetite. I'm not sure if I showed this, but if I did, I'll show it again. I made a slit take spore setup over here, which is a large barrel, and we throw some witch water in there, and also I think there is something else. I think there's just a slit stake spore in an input bus, and it needs a circuit. No, it doesn't need a circuit, and then that makes a lot of slit stake spores. These we just smelt with our setup over here twice, and that gives us a lot of sticky resin. And also the gold we need. And we will fill up the blast furnaces again. The overcharged gold we get by throwing gold into a polarizer. And we also need a bit of overcharged diamond. And a bit of overcharged iron here. The overcharged iron we need to run to twice, because otherwise it just makes magnetic iron. We make this tier of magnet. I thought that was how we did it. No, it's the other way around. So something like this. That gives us the crest. I don't think we'll use these though. I do think we'll use these here. Let's see how many. Let's try and make the 48 here that we also have there. No, I do think we have 60 actually. I'm not sure we can make that many, but we will attempt to make as many as possible. Don't think we have the gold required, and I don't think we have the diamonds required. But let's sift a bit more, make some more charcoal, and process some more iron, because I really want those magnets. There are a lot of crafting and rating for processes. I'm almost finished with the required materials. The only thing I need is a bit more overcharged gold, but otherwise we are almost there. And yeah, we have all the materials now. We make some magnetite blocks, and then we should be able to make these. We have 60, and we will replace these magnets with the other ones here. It will take too much stress, but we will just take the rotational controller and do a little less rotation. And I also think between episodes I will add more diesel generators, because our system here should be able to support it, like it's buffering up quite a bit. And they don't use that much rotational power. It looks like something broke here though. Let's get a shaft and see what happened. This is way overstressed. Let's see here. Let's go down in speed. We can not do that much. It's just figuring out. We can do 128, and it should be a bit more power here. Now that we changed out the magnets to like, we did a couple of levels of upgrades. Like we had the redstone ones before, and now we have these, so it's like 2 levels of upgrades. And yeah, it makes 3000 RF per tick, which equates to 24 LV amps, which is more than enough for the LVH, and it actually also almost can support 6.5 of medium voltage MV. voltage later on. So this is a very good setup. We will make a bunch of low voltage machines in order to make better recipes. The next machine we will make is the bender, which makes plates at a better ratio. So I'll do that, and then we will probably make some travel anchors afterwards. We need these LV pistons, which we haven't made before. It's a small gear, some rods, and some steel plates, together with a motor that we have made before.
For the next clips, I accidentally muted my microphone, but we started off by making the bender here. And we also started making a lot of steel plates for the travel anchors. The travel anchors you can rename by right-clicking them, and I'll just name them level 1, 2, and 3. If you're familiar with elevated blocks from other map packs, you can use these travel anchors in the same way. And at the same time, you can also use something called a staff of traveling to go to the different travel anchors. And here I demonstrate how you can use the staff of traveling to go from anywhere to every travel anchor you please. I set up some barrels and some pipes in order to make easier passive crafting, semi-passive at least. And we place some slabs so we don't fall, but can still access the barrels. Next thing we made was a fluid solidifier so that we can easily make rubber without having to use buckets. For the fluid solidifier, we made our first fluid pumps, which is quite a bit of nested crafting, but will become easier with time. With the better ratios for the different machines, I wanted to craft the basic assembler, as it needed a lot of components that had bad ratios before we got the machines.
Our next order of business is making an LV robot arm and also a conveyor module, like so. And I already crafted the assembler, but the quests didn't count as I again didn't have the items in my inventory, so I need to be a little more careful with that. We will use these 2 items though, so it's not really a problem. Now if we in the assembler take a circuit of 1, some magnetic rods, let's do a bunch, and some fine steel wire, we can make our first low voltage coil, and together with a machine hull and some tin cabling we can make our first energy hatch. For our next project I actually want 4 energy hatches, so let's make that. Seems like we don't have the wrought iron we need. I thought we did. But let's see, we might have some down at the starter base. Yeah. And after a little bit of crafting, we can quite easily craft up 4 energy hatches. We really should be making the electric blast furnace and getting started on making some aluminum. But I do have another project in mind, which will have to wait for the next episode. I hope you enjoyed this one, and I hope I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.